Welcome to day 3. Today we're going to work on serving. Now serving is one of the most important things in volleyball because it starts every play. Every play in volleyball begins with a serve from one team or the other. So it's going to take a lot of practice for you guys to get this. We're going to go over all the techniques of how to do it, but it takes practice. You have to practice, practice, practice if you want to get better at this. Especially at the elementary level, it's going to be harder for you to get the ball over, and you may not get it over for a long time, but keep at it because eventually you're going to get stronger and you're going to be able to get it over. Parents, if you want, you can start with your child with a ball that's a Volley Light. That's the Tachikara brand, or Moulton calls it a First Touch. Those balls are a little bit lighter and they're meant for 12 years old and under. So that would be the best bet as they practice this, is to be able to get the ball over. And as they get stronger and get closer to 12, or even if you feel like before the age of 12 they're strong enough to get it over, then you might want to switch to a regular ball that says official weight on it. One of the things, if you don't have a volleyball net, and you can see I don't have one here, you can string up a ribbon. Just take a really like a thick craft ribbon and string it up between two trees. You can do a bunch of different things. A typical volleyball court from the end line to the net is about 30 feet, so as long as you measure back from that point, they should be able to judge whether they can get the ball over or not. I recommend starting really close to the net and working your way back, but we can talk about that soon. Let's get started with a warm-up. Okay, for our warm-up today, we're going to do a setting shuffle. So you remember on the first day we did a shuffle where we had to get low with our legs and bend our legs. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to go across from each other this way, and we're going to be about a couple of feet apart, 3 feet apart, and we're going to set back and forth to each other while we shuffle toward you and away from you. If you don't have a partner, you can do this by yourself. You would just go straight up and set to yourself as you shuffle back and forth. But Kate and I are going to go back and forth with each other. Ready? Go. If you get off course, you just gotta you gotta stop and keep going. All right, get back. Ready? It doesn't always work as planned, so you can keep trying it and you'll get better as you go. But the main part is that you're staying low and that you're making sure that you shuffle and you don't cross your feet over as you go. In volleyball, we don't want to cross our feet over because if we're trying to get to a ball fast, we might trip if we cross over. Okay, for our next warm-up, we're going to go back to what we did the first day with using our arms and trying to control the ball with our arms, because passing, remember, is very important. So we have to keep up with our skills on passing. So I'm going to start with my right arm. I'm going to try for 20, and we'll see if I can get 20 in a row. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I did it! Now we're going to do the left hand. Let's see how good I am with my left. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh, one more. 20. Okay, so let's see if you did any better with your left than I could do with mine. Try for 20 in a row, but it's okay. If you have to stop, keep going. You'll get better and better as you go. Okay, on to serving. So today we're just going to go over underhand serving. For the elementary age, that's about all we can handle. Most elementary students don't have a strong enough shoulder to be able to overhand serve quite yet. But toward the end of maybe 5th grade, you can start to work on your overhand strength by throwing the ball over the net. That will help build it's the same motion, throwing the ball over the net, as serving overhand over the net. So as you get older, you want to try and build up that shoulder strength. Try throwing the ball, and if you can get it over the net by throwing it from the back line, usually you're strong enough to be able to learn the overhand serve. If you feel like you're old enough to do the overhand serve and you can throw it over the net. Stay tuned for our middle school camp and you can learn how to overhand serve in that one. But today we're just going to do underhand serving because that's most of you what you'll be able to do. And again, you may not be strong enough to do this quite at the beginning. We're going to teach you the technique, and if you can get the technique right and be serving correctly, as you get stronger, you're going to be able to get it over the net. And most elementary teams will let you start up further into the court than all the way in the back line. They have a serving line that's specially for 4th through 6th graders. All right, Kate's just going to catch for me. What you're going to do is, if you have a wall, you can do this against the wall. But if you don't have a wall and you have a person, they can catch for you and hand it back. I'm just going to go down on one knee, and I'm going to use whatever arm I normally would write with. So I'm a right-handed person. This is the hand I write with. So that's the arm that I'm going to use to swing with. And so I need my other knee up. So I need my left knee up, and my right arm is going to be the one doing the swinging. When I go to serve, I need to hold the ball in front of my swinging arm. So I don't want to hold the ball in the middle of my body, because then my arm has to swing across my body and it's not in the right place. I need the ball to be where my arm is going to be swinging, because I would like this arm, remember how we make it stiff like a board when we're passing? It needs to be stiff like a board when we're serving too. So we need to keep that arm swinging straight back and forth, and we don't want to go across our body with it. So when I hold the ball in front of me, I'm holding it right in front of my hitting arm. Okay, so right in front of my swinging arm, I need to lean forward. If I'm back like this and I go to swing and hit the ball, it's going to go straight up. I don't want the ball to go up. I want it to go out and over the net. So, Kate, you might want to back up just a little bit. So I need to lean forward, hold the ball in front of my swinging arm, keep my arm nice and straight. Now you can turn your arm this way, but I prefer to turn my hand this way so that there's more area for the ball to hit off of. And I'm going to swing straight back and straight forward to Kate. Okay, practice hitting it off your hand. Okay, it's like a golf tee, really, that you're holding it with the other hand and you're just swinging and getting it off of that up to your partner or to a wall if you're by yourself. Okay, practice getting it high and straight out. Now, as I get better, I want Kate to move back, or I need to get further away from my wall and see if I can get a little bit more power in there to be able to do it with. Okay? All right, now, once you feel like you've got a good swing with your arm and you're leaning forward and you're making sure you put your arm that's holding the ball in front of your swinging arm, you can stand up. Okay, so when I stand up, I need to keep that same form that I had before when I was kneeling, right? So I was kind of turned to the side when I was on my knee like that. When I stand up, I still need to be kind of to the side with my left leg forward, all right? So I'm still going to lean forward, like I said before, still going to hold the ball in front of my swinging arm, but now my legs, I'm standing up. I'm not crouched down on the ground, okay? And you're going to practice swinging and hitting the ball over and over again. Nice stiff board, straight back, straight forward, hit it off your hand. Okay, leaning forward while I do it. Make sure a lot of the problems that people have with serving is they think they're leaning forward, but as soon as they go to hit the ball, they stand up. Well, when you stand up like that, the ball's going to go straight up. So make sure you're leaning forward all the way through and you don't stand up in the middle of it. Okay, oh, I sent Kate pretty far that time. So if you're practicing on a net and you have a friend that can help return the ball to you, what I want you to do is start about 10 feet off the net, and every time you get the ball over 5 times, I want you to take 2 steps back and practice from there. When you can get it over 5 more times, it doesn't have to be in a row, just 5 total times, back up again, try again, and keep working your way back to the end line until you can serve from the end line. If you get to a point where you can't get it over very often, that's okay. That just means that's where you need to start practicing more at, and keep practicing there until you can get it over. Hopefully, you'll be able to get the ball over the net and your serve will get better and better. Today's challenge time is about a woman named Esther, and maybe you've heard of her before, and she even has her own book of the Bible. And in fact, that's where our story comes from Esther 2 through 7, chapters 2 through 7. And you can go back and read that whenever you want to and read all the details. It's a really cool story, and it's actually one of my favorites in the Bible because Esther was so brave and so bold, and she did what was right, which is what we're learning about this week, is do what's right. Yesterday we learned about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego doing what's right, and today we learned about Esther doing what was right. Our verse today is from Ephesians 4:15, which says, "Kings take pleasure in honest lips. They value a man who speaks truth." Well, Esther was in a strange position. See, she had become the queen, and the king had this rule that you couldn't come talk to him unless he held out his scepter or unless he called you to come talk to him. He had many wives, which was not right, but he would only talk to you if he had called you, or if he held out his scepter. You came to him and he held out his scepter, and that meant you had his favor and that you could come talk to him about what you needed to talk to him about. Well, Esther had a problem because she needed to go talk to the king. Well, why did she need to go talk to the king? She was a Jew. Esther was a Jew, and the Jews were in persecution. There was a man named Haman who worked for the king who didn't like Jews, and he was doing everything he could to try and kill them off, which was horrible. And Esther knew this, and she needed to be able to go to the king and tell him of Haman's evil plan. But how does she do that? If she goes to the king and he doesn't hold out his scepter, he could kill Esther for coming to him without being summoned or without being asked. And so Esther was in a bad place. She didn't know what to do. So she tells her cousin Mordecai, "Go tell all the Jews to pray for me because I need to go talk to the king." So all the Jews fast and pray, and they are trying to help Esther to be able to get enough courage and boldness to go talk to the king, and for the king to have favor with Esther, and so he won't kill her if she comes to talk to him. Well, Esther prays and prays. She decides that she's going to come up with a plan, that she's going to make him a feast, because surely that will please the king. If I make a feast for him, he'll want to come and he'll be happy with me, and maybe it'll put him in a better mood when I need to talk to him. So she makes a big feast, and not only does she invite her husband, the king, but she also invites Haman to come to this feast. So Haman and the king come to this feast, and Haman's actually feeling quite proud of himself that the queen herself has invited him to her special feast. He comes to the feast, and they eat, and at the end of the night, the king's so pleased with Esther that he says, "Whatever you want, I'll give it to you. You just name it." Esther says, "I want to give you another feast tomorrow." And so he says, "Okay, I'll come to your feast tomorrow." So she plans another feast that she invites both the king and Haman to. And he comes back to the next feast. He's even more pleased after that feast. And he tells Esther again, "Anything you want in the kingdom is yours. You win my favor. So what do you want, Queen Esther?" And Esther says, "Save my people." And he says, "Well, why? Who are your people?" She says, "The Jews who Haman here is trying to kill." And the king is so upset that he has Haman killed in place of where he was wanting the Jews. Haman was wanting the Jews to be killed, which was on the gallows. He has him hung by his own gallows that he built to kill the Jews. So God saved Esther and all of her people because Esther was brave and bold, and she did the right thing even though it was scary. So what I want to challenge you with is, what's scary in your life? What is hard for you to do that you don't want to do, but you know is the right thing? Is it standing up for a friend, or is it maybe standing up for your sibling if they're in trouble or they're getting bullied by somebody? Is it telling the teacher when you've done something wrong, or telling your parents when you've done something wrong and you know you're going to get in trouble for it, but you know it's the right thing to tell the truth? So what is it in your life that you need to be brave and bold like Esther and do the right thing? So today's volleyball fact has to do with serving, since that's what we learned today. So in volleyball, when you go back to the back line, there's the line is about 2 inches wide, and the rule is that you're not allowed to step on it. So even your little toe at the very tip of your toe touches it. It is a foot fault, and you are not allowed to do that, and they will say that your serve is over and give the point to the other team, and they get to serve. You also may not step over the line, so you can't touch it or step over it during your serve. Now once the ball has left your hands and you've hit it, you can step on or over the line. That's okay. But until the ball leaves your hands, you are not allowed to step on or over the line. So that is our fact for the day. So to sum up what we've done today, we learned about serving, and we learned how to make sure that we hold the ball in front of our serving arm. We learned how to make sure that our serving arm or our swinging arm is nice and straight like a board, and is stiff and strong as it swings straight through. And we also learned how to make sure we lean forward while we're serving. And we also learned that the best way to make sure we can get the ball over is to start close to the net. Don't be afraid to start close to the net. All of my players, junior high, elementary, junior high, all the way through high school, I always have them start close to the net when they're learning how to serve, because it makes sure that your form is right before you worry about trying to power it over. So get your form right first, and as you step back, you'll keep the same good form as you get stronger and as you put more power behind it. The other thing I wanted to point out that I didn't mention earlier is as you move back and you need more power, the faster your arm swings, the more power you will have. So it's not about trying to hit it harder, it's about moving your arm faster. So make sure you're doing that and keep working at it, and you'll have your serve down in no time.